motivation. Today is Thursday, March the 31st, 2022. We have another month in the books in a few hours, and the first quarter of 2022 will have ended. That went by so quickly. Are you charting your goals, charting your progress? All that we've been talking about in the past few weeks, because that's what it takes to be successful. Writing down your goals, making a to do list, checking those things off that you've done in the day to make you feel accomplished and achieved, and then moving forward with what's next, being present in the moment and striving for the next. That's what it's all about, partly on Midday Motivation, Life with Sharon. Again, thank you so much for joining me. We have a great show in store for you today. Today, we are talking about being the example and speaking life into others. Yesterday, we talked about encouraging yourself, not waiting for others to encourage you. Encourage yourself, motivate yourself into where you want to be, because the next person might not do it. So do it for yourself. Affirm yourself with daily affirmations. And today we're talking about being the example to others and helping to motivate and encourage them by the words you choose to speak to them. Your words matter. We talked about that earlier in the week and gave the example of what happened at the Oscars this past Sunday with Will Smith and slapping Chris Rock. Words matter. Not condoning the violence, the slapping. However, had Chris chose his words more wisely and chose not to say a joke about Jada's condition, even though he didn't know she had a condition, but speak about her bald head with a G.I. Jane joke, then the slap wouldn't have happened. Again, not justifying what Will did, but if we choose our words wisely, look how many people we see on the news who are incarcerated because of the words they chose. It triggered an emotion in someone else that then they pulled out a gun and shot them. And now you can't take that back. Once you're dead, you're gone. You don't come back from that. Words truly do matter. They matter tremendously. All of us need to watch our words. And when we say, but I can say anything I want, absolutely. You have free will. You can say anything you want. But there are consequences to the words that we choose to use. Some consequences on our behalf, some consequences on another's behalf if they choose to take it too far. So, such as what Will did, if he took it too far, then he's going to have to pay some consequences. We don't know what the academy is going to choose. Chris decided not to press charges against him, but technically he could have charged him with assault, rightfully so, because he assaulted him. Words versus physical violence, they don't match up according to the law, right? And we live in a society of laws. However, when we set the laws aside, words are very scarring. Verbal abuse turns into mental, emotional abuse. The words you choose to say to someone can emotionally damage them for life, especially if the person doesn't seek professional help to overcome some of those things that were spoken over them, that was said to them. You know, the child who was bullied in school, those words. It's not even so much bullying with physical violence. It's bullying with that taunting, with those words that are being chosen to use, that are constantly being spoken over that child. And that child hears them every day and they begin to believe those things about themselves. I'm a therapist. I see children every day who believe things that bullies have said about them. And because it's been going on for so long, they begin to internalize it. And now they feel that way about themselves when it's not true. Because the bully is bullying because he can't fight his own bully, if you will. There's unresolved issues in his life, but he can't, for whatever reason, especially if it's a child. And if there's some situation going on at home, he can't do anything with his parents because he's a child or she. And so who do I find? I find the weakest link that I can take advantage of because I can't take it out on who I want to take it out. So I displace my anger onto someone else. That's what bullying is about. That's why it's so important in how we treat our children. The words that we speak to our children Saying to your son or daughter, you're going to be just like your father, you're going to be just like your mother, with that attitude, with that poor behavior, whatever the different things we might say. And we wonder why the child grows up and acts like their father or acts like their parent, because you spoke that into them. And your words have power as a parent over your child. Well, why do you think your son grew up just to be like his father? You said you're going to be just like your father over and over and over again with the negative qualities that you saw or perceived in the child's father. You stated those same things over your son. It's real. It happens. And it's so important. It starts from the beginning of life. Even when children are in the womb, babies are in the womb, it matters what you say, what you speak. Babies in the womb, they recognize stress. They recognize trauma. Trauma can happen in the womb. It's that serious. So be mindful to speak life, not death, over your children, so they can grow up with more of a positive attitude, a positive outlook, grow up with a higher self-esteem, self-confidence. Don't thwart their self-esteem. Don't damage their confidence because of your issues, because that's what it's really about. Parents speak their issues onto their children. Children don't come out of the womb knowing things and how to be and how to behave and how to speak. You speak a life or death into your child by the words you choose, because you have the power as a parent to train that child, his behavior, his thoughts, how he feels or she feels, by the words that you choose. Build your child up. Never tear your child down. Regardless of what your child has done, you can always find a way to build that child up. So hopefully they can turn from whatever negative ways that they may be behaving. Don't speak the negative. Speak where you see that child going. Yes, there could be consequences for the negative, and you tell the child what not to do and why that might not be a good look. But then also say, but I see greatness in you. This is what you can achieve. This is the behavior as a young man that I see in you. It's in you. You just have to tap into it and let them know they don't have to behave like their peers. But what are you showing them at home? Maybe they're behaving the way people are behaving in the home environment, is not the peers. You got to check your home. So as well as checking your verbals, check your environment and everyone in it. Sit down, listen. We can't change what happened in the past, but we can do something different in the present. And we choose as a family to no longer be negative. We want to be positive toward one another. We want to speak life into one another. We want to behave better. And when parents behave better, children behave better. Yes, children are going to be children. Kids are going to be kids. That's life. And they're going to have outside influences from people at their school and where whatever activities they're in. But when they come home, they should see something different. They should see something better, a foundation that is laid for them for the rest of their lives. So no matter who they come in contact with, they know right from wrong. They know better. And now they have to make a decision, as opposed to seeing the same thing at home that they see in the street. Well, you haven't put anything in them, so they're going to do the same thing they see in the street because that's what they see at home. They should see something different at home than they see in the street, than they see in the schoolyard, than they see anywhere else, because you love your children. And when you love your children, you do better by your children. You do right by your children, regardless of how you're feeling. And that's the problem. We often speak how we feel. And we feel negatively sometimes. We feel down. We feel angry. All these emotions are appropriate, but that doesn't mean we speak that into someone else. We check ourselves and how we're feeling. Like, what am I about to say? That's not going to come out right if I say how I feel. So let me say something different. You don't always have to say what you think. And tomorrow's episode of Life with Sharon is talking about learning how to speak and learning when to speak and when not to speak. That is so key. That is so key. And the Oscars are an example of it. If Chris Rock had just chosen not to say that joke, we wouldn't be talking about that issue here today. And again, not condoning the violence, But if he had just thought a second and made a different decision, it would have went a whole different way. You never know what you're triggering in someone when you say something. That's why it's always wise to be positive, to be encouraging and supportive rather than demeaning, belittling, destructive with your words rather than constructive with your words. And if you can't be constructive and encouraging and support, don't say anything at all. It's always better to not say anything at all if you can't say anything that's going to be uplifting. Now, we can give constructive feedback, which is still uplifting because it's constructive. Now, sometimes constructive feedback hurts because it touched a nerve because it was real. You know what? I do that. That is something in me that I need to change. So it's like, oh, that stung a little bit. But it's okay to have that sting because that sting lets you know what? I need to change that about me. And thank you, friend, a real friend, for not allowing me to keep doing that because it's not a good look. And other people see it too, but they're probably just talking about me behind my back. But you, as a friend, pulled my coat and let me know that's not a good look. You can change that. You're better than that. And you know what? I am. I am better than that. I have to tap into the better me and not always reach down toward that gully me. You know, we all have the gully in us, but that's not what we want to pull out. I'm sure that's not what Will Smith wanted to pull out. It was in him, obviously, but that's not who he demonstrated himself to be all these years that we've known him as a public figure. But a nerve was touched because of words and because of the love he has for his family, for his wife. And his emotions got the best of him. And he did something that he's going to have to pay some consequences for. And he's apologized. He's regretting it with the apology. And that's what we do. We live on the other side of regret when we do things based out of emotion. Look at how many people are sitting in jail. An emotional response to something that wasn't thought out rationally. Any of us could be in that situation. Any of us. Because in our humanity, we're flawed. We're broken. We're human. And so in our humanity, we have to consider the words that we use and choose to speak life and not death into others as well as ourselves. You know, we say oftentimes, what is it? I love her to death, or I love him to death. And we know it's such a common phrase, we don't even think about it. We have so many common phrases like that we don't think about. But listen to what we're saying. I love you to death. Let's change that. Whoever's listening here forward on the replay, thank you for watching the replay. Let's love someone to life. Let's stop saying I love you to death. When we think about it, that's not a good thing. So now let's start saying I love you to life. I love you so much. I want your life to be all that it can be. I want you to be all that you can be. I love you to life. That's so much more endearing and encouraging and uplifting. But we have to be mindful of what it is that we're saying. If we're just haphazardly speaking, as we do oftentimes, like with quips like that, love you to death, we're just haphazardly speaking. I heard it said, it's been said so many times, I'm picking it up too. Excuse me, I'm guilty of it. We all are. But when we live with intention, now I'm more mindful of what I say and what I do and the impact that it could have. I want the words that I say to impact people in a positive way, in a helpful way, in a way that will help them to change their lives for the better. That feels so good. Have you ever complimented a stranger? Say you're in the bank at the bank teller or in the supermarket, the cashier, and just said, "Oh, that's a beautiful blouse," or "You have a wonderful smile," and you just see their countenance just change. You never know what they experienced at home that day. You could be the only one who stops them from committing suicide that day because you encouraged them and they realize, you know what, life is worth living. It's that serious. It takes one word to make someone feel like ending their lives, or to make someone feel like they're unworthy. Your words have so much power. Choose to speak life into others, people you know, family, friends, and even strangers. Compliment people. Compliment people. You like to be complimented. I like to be complimented. Just say something nice. You want something nice said back to you? Say something nice to others. Encourage one another. Whether you know them or not, say something encouraging, something that will brighten their day. It doesn't take much. It doesn't take time out of your day to be nice, or just to smile at someone as you're walking down the street and you smile at someone, or smile at someone in the market, acknowledging them. I see you, and you nod and you smile. People love that. It's like, yes, someone saw me today. You know how many people feel unseen in their own homes? But you could be the difference. Just with a smile, just with an encouraging, supportive word, just with a compliment. Things that seem so small go so far. Don't ever minimize the power that your words have, the impact that your words can have. Good or bad, it works both ways. Let's opt to land on the side of good. Let's use this week's example of what happened at the Oscars, of how we want to move forward. Choosing our words wisely so we don't get a result, a potential result, because you never know. It could wind up either way, good or bad. Even if you say something that's not that great, well, it doesn't have to end up really bad, but you don't know, because you never know what the other person is thinking. You don't know what the other person is going through in their life, or what they've been through in their life. People are being triggered all day long, every day, and whether they know it or not. And people have trauma in their background. You don't know what you're triggering in them. And that thing that you say could be the straw for them. And boom, one decision and your life could be over. It's just that serious. We see it happen on the news every day. Someone getting shot for something so seemingly trivial. But there was something going on with that person. And in that moment, they couldn't take it. You don't get your life back after that. Or you could be seriously maimed for life, or just seriously hurt. We don't want to go through that. Who wants to go through that? No one. And again, I'm not condoning violence just because someone's said something and now they're going to respond with violence. I don't condone that at all. But we can take more control than maybe we have in the past by choosing our words much more wisely to thwart off any potential danger that could happen. Now, you could say something great and wonderful, and danger, violence still happen, because you just never know. But when you choose your words more wisely, you decrease the potential for violence to happen. So that is the show for today. Encouraging others. Be the example for others by speaking life into them, choosing your words wisely, encouraging them, and encouraging yourself. Don't wait for others to encourage you. Encourage yourself. Speak life into yourself every day, that you are blessed with the fresh 24. Speak life. Speak life. Thank you, Anetta, for watching. I didn't even give out the information. Thank you for watching on the Full Life Communications page on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Instagram. We broadcast daily live on YouTube and on Facebook, 12:30 in the afternoon, for a jolt of midday motivation with myself, Sharon, Life with Sharon, every day, well, Monday through Friday, 12:30. And we're going to have some new shows coming up for you starting in the month of April. They are going to be in the evenings, but I will announce them next week. So stay tuned for that. I appreciate you guys watching and supporting the show and engaging with me. Those of you who watch on the replay, I love you so much. I see the numbers of people watching in the replay. I know midday in the afternoon, that's not really convenient for the people to watch. But for those who can, it's a jolt in the afternoon and a jolt in the evening or early morning, whenever you watch it, because the information is always relevant. Always. Till eternity, this information is relevant. So subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the feed, please, as well as click the notification bell to be notified whenever I'm on. This way you don't have to think about it. And also, that's on YouTube, on Facebook, like the page, share the feed. Thank you so much again for watching. And tomorrow, we're talking about learning when to speak and when not to speak. So important, because we shouldn't always say what we're thinking. And timing is key. Just because I can say a thing doesn't mean I should say a thing. And we have to be mindful of the timing of when we say certain things. So that's tomorrow's topic. Again, thank you so much for joining me. I love you all. God bless you. Thank you for supporting the show. Have a God day.